to another episode of All About Semis. I'm QDZ, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of Celadon, one of America's largest truck companies. So to understand how Celadon collapsed, we need to know a little bit about the history of Celadon. And what many might not know, is Celadon was actually a really good company at one time. Celadon was founded by Stephen Russell, a New York native and the son of a taxi driver. He founded the company with a single truck in 1985. At the time he retired from the company in December, he had built the company into a prominent North American trucking business with more than $1 billion in annual revenue. He was also known for the commitment to the health of his workers, opening multiple facilities to promote wellness. Russell stepped aside as being the CEO in 2012, and arguably, this is when things started to transpire. He remained an active member of the American Trucking Association's executive committee. Before creating Celadon, Russell had some ties to the transportation industry. He worked as an executive at Ford Motor Company, led a company that helped to build an airport in Saudi Arabia. He was also the CEO of Sea-Train Lines, a shipping company. It is widely known that Celadon had bought many companies over the course of his lifetime. And among many honors that Mr. Russell received, among the honors he received is Global Business Person of the Year, awarded by the World Trade Club of Indiana, and was inducted into the Indiana Business Hall of Fame. He was recognized by Governor Mitch Daniels for his efforts to apply daylight savings time statewide in Indiana, which he picked as the home for Celadon because so many key industrial highways intersected there. Stephen Russell passed away April 15, 2016. And this is when the turns of events started to take place that ultimately brought down Celadon. Celadon began having financial troubles in 2017, less than a year after the CEO's passing. So now let's understand what made the company strong. The company specialized in transporting truckload freight to and from Mexico, as well as within the United States and Canada. They had 4 major subsidiaries: Celadon Trucking Services, Cheetah Transportation, Girth Transportation Limited, and Transportation D. Jaguar. The company went public in 1994, and it was listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 2009. It had over 4,000 customers, including Chrysler, Volkswagen, Fisher-Price, and Pier 1. It also benefited from the North American Free Trade Agreement passed in 1995, which increased trade between the 3 countries. The North American Trade Agreement was basically a law to keep trades between the 3 countries, Canada, United States, and Mexico, and also to try and keep jobs in those 3 countries. It was kind of controversial in a sense, but I'd have to do a whole nother video on that. So to understand how Celadon benefit from this trade agreement, it eliminated taxes and a lot of costs associated with trading between the 3 countries, Canada, Mexico, and United States, which obviously Canada and Mexico, Celadon could reach, even though they did expand to ocean transportation. So with that treaty in effect, it made the company hugely profitable. So naturally, when that happened in 1995, it dramatically increased trade between the 3 countries. In 2017, it was revealed that 2 former executives had inflated the value of the company's trucks and hid millions and millions of dollars in losses from shareholders and banks. Following that, the company's stock was suspended and delisted by the New York Stock Exchange, and it defaulted on its loans.
And its epicenter is right here on East 33rd Street, east of Post Road. Recruiters for other companies sat in the rain, signing up laid-off truck drivers as Celadon trucks and the people who drive them are coming to a halt.
Celadon's done, and they told us today that they have to close by court order.
The company filed for bankruptcy on December 9th, 2019, and shut down most of its operations
as the result of ongoing probes into fraud committed by former Celadon executives who allegedly overstated the value of their trucks and rolling stock to banks and investors.
The bankruptcy came just days after two former executives of Celadon, William Eric Meek and Bobby Lee Pevler, were arrested and charged with the conspiracy of fraud and allegedly inflating the value of the company's trucks and holding millions of dollars in losses from shareholders and banks. The fraud scheme caused Celadon's market value to drop by $62.3 million in one day.
Chapter 11 reorganization bankruptcy shows it has assets of $427 million, debts of $391 million, and its biggest unsecured claim is $33 million owed in restitution to the federal government.
Celadon was ordered to shut down operations immediately. The chain of events caused over 3,000 drivers to be stuck all over the country.
Afternoon, a trucker who didn't want her name used because she feared Celadon might back out on helping her said at least 30 drivers were stranded in Indianapolis.
All of a sudden, their gas guards and stuff weren't working. They got them back on, but now they're not working again. People were stranded. There's people that are broke down that on the side of the road. Some of them didn't have enough gas. Some of them were told that they could put gas in it out of their own pocket.
Celadon has about 2,700 trucks that run from Canada to Mexico, and there were some rigs leaving the terminal today, though one driver said he's never seen so many parked trucks and trailers there before. While industry stock researchers anticipate Celadon will file bankruptcy this week, truckers tell me they've heard the company has lost 3 of its biggest customers, and the drivers and their supporters share what little bit of information they have through social media.
And it has been numerous of posts that I've seen people saying, hey, look, I'm stuck here in St. Louis, I'm stuck here in Kansas, I'm stuck, here in Baltimore, I've called the job, no one's answering, my fuel car is still not working, if you can give me a lift to, get back home, then that would be well appreciated.
The one driver who would agree to talk to me broke down when she thought of being stuck in Indy, hundreds of miles from her home and child, and when I asked her what was her biggest worry.
Oh, my kid.
Do you have any way to get home?
Yeah. I just want to go home.
Drivers for Celadon told me they've been told to hold on until Monday for a meeting with company officials.
The company's assets started being sold off to pay off its creditors, who claimed more than $900 million against the company.
3,500 people work for Celadon, and all of them are wondering what's down the road this week. Trucks are coming home to Celadon's transit center, called back to Indy after last week's word of the indictments of 2 former top executives who allegedly defrauded the company and its shareholders of $60 million in stock value.
The company's bankruptcy was the largest truckload bankruptcy in history, and it had a devastating impact on its employees, customers, suppliers, and the trucking industry as a whole. The bankruptcy also has affected Celadon's customers, suppliers, and creditors, who have filed claims totaling more than $900 million against the company's asset. Some of the largest creditors includes Pilot Travel Centers, Cummings, Navistar International Corp. Some of the customers include General Motors, Walmart, Target, and Amazon, just to name a few. The bankruptcy has also raised questions about the oversight and regulation of the trucking industry. In a volatile and competitive market, some experts have suggested that more transparency and accountability are needed to prevent fraud and mismanagement in the industry. Something I've been screaming for a long time, but anyway. Now let's talk about the aftermath and the people that it affected. Because surprisingly, when you look deep into the company, there were a lot of just ordinary people good people that just enjoyed their job.
I am very proud to say that I have been with Celadon for 18 years this May, and it makes me happy to say that they're just as successful today as they were the day that I started.
No, they're a good company. We enjoy our time here. Like I said, I'm a lease purchase driver, been here for a year.
Here at Celadon, they care about your health. They give you the opportunity to be in Weight Watchers.
Celadon also gives you the opportunity to kind of get out of your desk and get moving. They offer self-defense classes, which is really great.
I like working at Celadon because of the challenges that this job and this company present, and no 2 days are ever the same.
Celadon offers on-site medical care in Indianapolis, and that's why it's the best place to work.
I like working at Celadon. Great team environment, good culture.
I like working at Celadon because we're growing, we're making acquisitions, and we're profitable. And that's how we roll.
And that's how I roll.
This is how we roll.
This is how we roll.
And this is how I roll.
I'm so excited to be with Celadon. This is the way I roll.
Brad. And that's just how I roll here.
That's how I roll.
This is how I roll.
This is how we roll.
And that's how I roll.
I like working here because of all the friendly people. This is how I roll.
What I love about Celadon is the authenticity of our culture. Steve Russell set the tone for how he treats employees, and that's filtered down through all levels of management. So when we say we have an open door policy, it's not just a corporate tagline, it's how we roll.
Been with Celadon Trucking Services for 25 years. They bought the company I used to work for, Digby out of Laverne, Tennessee. Great bunch of people here. Made a lot of friends, having a good time. Mr. Russell, when he purchased our company, said he'd honor my seniority. I'm starting my 26.
Looks at life and what's important in life. It's whether you're moving forward in life. And the answer is as part of Celadon. And I started this business 27 years ago. It's the way I like to roll and the way 4,000 employees like to roll.
We're Celadon. This is how we roll.
Many former Celadon drivers and employees are still bitter and angry about how the company handled the situation, understandably, especially after the loss of their jobs and healthcare insurance, retirement benefits, and belongings without any warning or severance pay. I can see how that could get a little crazy. Some former Celadon drivers and employees have filed lawsuits against the company seeking compensation for unpaid wages, bonuses, vacation time, and other damages. They also accused the company of violating the worker adjustment and retaining notification. It's called the WARN Act, if you're not familiar, which requires employers to give at least 60 days notice before mass layoffs, which we all know Celadon didn't do. Some former Celadon drivers and employees have found new jobs with other carriers or companies, while others are still struggling to find employment or cope with the emotional trauma of the bankruptcy. Some drivers have also received help from other truckers, trucking associations, or charitable organizations that offer them food, fuel, transportation, or just somewhere to stay. I will say, amidst this time, a lot of truckers and companies did come together to help a lot of stranded people. I happen to know a lot of Celadon drivers and former Celadon employees, and arguably, it always starts as, once the original CEO passed away, the money started getting squandered. They were running through the company, and the chain of events started to take shape. And once the snowball started rolling downhill, we know what happened. And as I said before, there was a lot of good people that worked at Celadon. I knew a lot of those people. A lot of those people were my friends, and I saw the impact that it had on some of those people. I knew guys that leased trucks. They were dealing with a company called Quality Companies, and that they lost their trucks. Some companies wouldn't even allow them to lease their trucks on to other companies because they were a part of the Celadon situation. So this is a lot bigger than it was led out to be. And interestingly enough, there wasn't really any civil charges. It wasn't, well, criminal charges. It was a civil charge thing. So what that means is, in situations like that, there's usually not any jail time. And the company CEOs take what they have and ride off into the sunset. Well, I hope you enjoyed this docuseries. It's really a sad story. It's really sad for all the people that were involved, all the people that lost their jobs, the small people at the bottom, as we say. Well, take care. Have a good day. Thanks for watching this docuseries all about semis.